Hi, I'm Lou with another episode of My Car Story. And in the early automobile history, we have friend to the channel, Alan Travis, and another car in the series. Alan, what year, make, and model is this one?
This is an 1898 Jeanperrin Vis-à-Vis carriage, a motor carriage.
Vis-a-vis, face-to-face. You'll see here in a second. So let's take a look at what this means. First of all, you've got an outfit on. What's the outfit for?
It's an 1898 motoring suit. This is all real. I'll have the hat on, I guess, a little bit later.
When we ride, yeah.
Yeah, and it's Lord Mountbatten from England.
Let's go right to your featured attractions. So first of all, right off the bat, we've got the radiator right there in our face as we go. And you can see that as we get a little bit closer to it, show us what's in there. Let me just grab my light. So what do we have right there?
So for the radiator, the water comes from the back of from the engine, which is in the rear,
right,
through a centrifugal pump all the way from the back of the car to the front, and you'll see water here when it's running.
Got it.
And this water goes through this trough and into this piece of copper tubing, and this copper tubing has all these fins on it, and that's the radiator. The water comes from the back through here, back again to the engine, and that's how you fill it also.
Okay. So then there's just that little clip there. We have the lamps on it. This lamp.
This is a kerosene lamp.
Which is interesting. Go ahead.
It's just simply a kerosene lamp, so it's not very bright, but it's a marker light.
And what's interesting is a lot of times they'll have writing on them. This one doesn't have a lot of writing at all.
Well, here it does.
Oh, there it does.
And this is a self-generating carbide lamp. So this is the miner's cap, if you think about it, 10 times over. So that you have carbide pellets and water, which generate acetylene gas. Okay. And that acetylene gas...
So you put those into the top. It has that open top.
Yes.
Okay.
And then there's an open flame in here.
Got it.
And that open flame is a very white, hot flame. And with the reflector in the back and the magnifying glass in the front, it emits a really strong light.
Got it.
Not that they ever would take their car out 126 years ago, but they could.
Now, just before we go any farther, so the top is here, and you can pop the top, put the information, or put the pellets in there, and what, water?
Yeah, and the water goes in the bottom.
Got it. So like that.
So that's where your carbide sits.
Okay. Got it. So there's nasty looking internal container.
Yep.
And then this beautiful outside container. Now I want to show this badge here because it states Auto Club. Now think about this, it's 1898. What would consist of an auto club?
Well, they had to wait till 3 inventors got around to making cars, inventing cars, because there just weren't any cars, but there's already a car club. That's just amazing. And the pen is fancier than what any club today would have. And they had it back 1898 at the very origin of automobiles. They knew that they were going to be fun.
That was amazing. We've got the leather license plate at the time.
So this is insured and registered for Arizona. So a plate, if, for example, Arizona, it would be called a pre-state plate. So a pre-state plate, they'd give you a number, and you would simply get a leather backing, and you get telegraph pole numbers, and you'd put it on your leather plate, and that would be your license plate that would be registered in your name.
Got it. Okay. Each side's a little different, so I'm going to show each side. First of all, we'll step on this side. So it's not all that big. I mean, of a car, I'm going to have you back up just a bit. Thank you. You can see this one is not taller than you. So tell me about the frame.
Okay, the frame is steel. It's basically an angle iron steel frame, but all of the bodywork, the fenders and all, is made out of wood. Wow. So there's no metal on this car at all, so it's pretty amazing that a wooden body could last 126 years, but it has.
That's our speedometer there.
Yeah, that's the speedometer drive, and that's our speedometer. The speedometer is very, very new. The speedometer is from 1902, but I just want to make sure how fast I'm going, so I put a modern speedometer on, but it's still 124 years old.
Right. Wow. And then we have a watch.
Yeah.
for our time. Tell me what that little badge is.
That badge is, that means you have successfully completed the London to Brighton rally in England, which is about 75, 80 miles, that happens each year the last of November.
And share with me why this steering wheel has an angle.
Excuse me. This is an 1898 car, but this was the last car that the inventor kept in his collection at the chateau. So in 1898, the steering post was straight up and down.
Right.
But then in 1901, he made the rake possible, which made it super sporty. You see the angle?
Yeah.
It's like a Corvette. Well, maybe not. But anyway, so since it has the 1901 steering column, and the car is dated as per the oldest part of the car, it's VCC dated 2 or 3 years newer than the 1898.
And the VCC is the official book, so to speak, of cars.
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing I'm going to do is this. So on this right here, I'm just going to go that way. Tell me what that little knob is on the side, that lever. Yes.
This is the 3-speed transmission, 3-speed on the column. So right now it's in neutral, and if I click it over to there, it's in first gear.
Yeah.
And that's second, and that's third gear.
Got it.
Noticing there's no reverse on here at all, but it does have a reverse. It actually has 3 reverse gears. So if you want to put it in reverse, you put it in neutral. You grab a hold of this handle, and that puts it in reverse, and that's your lockout. Then you have 3 speeds in reverse also.
Okay. So that's your off and on there. What, you have to flip that also to make it go in reverse?
You put this here, this locks it in
Yeah,
position.
okay. And then you lock it on.
And then
make it in reverse.
And because it's a vis-a-vis, you could be in reverse in your 3 speeds and sit on this side, especially if you had the straight up and down steering column.
Exactly.
You could steer from this side just as well. And since your pedals are kind of accessible,
yeah,
you kind of could do that. I don't think they did that, but.
So let's talk about the pedals. We've got 4 pieces here, really. The center one is the bell. Why don't we ring that for a second?
Okay, this is the bell.
So you can step on that so they know you're coming. Left is clutch. Center is actually gas. Is it brass?
Yes.
And then the right one is your brake.
Yes, that's right.
Got it. All right. And then share with me what this is. I found this fascinating.
Well, in the early years, the political bodies said that if you had an automobile, you're going to hurt people. So you had to carry with you an Undertaker kit. So this is the
Undertaker kit.
So this is the proper tools for the profession.
Have you ever had to use it?
No, but maybe today on our ride.
Maybe. All right. The Undertaker kit. That's amazing. Okay. So share with me why we've got this little key here.
Okay, well, this key here is if you get scared to death and you've got uncontrollable speed over 30 miles an hour, you simply take this out and that kills it.
That breaks the contact.
Yep. So most of the early cars have one of these somewhere on it. People would not get in these things because they were scared to death of them unless they had some way to absolutely guarantee that it wouldn't run at some point if they got scared.
Got it. All right. So we have here the starter.
Right, and this is the ignition key. So the ignition key comes out. So when you go to the mercantile or go to your restaurant, you take your key out. And to place your key back in place, you simply put it around the knob. And then now it's in the off position. And then the on position is when you flip it over to here.
Got it. We've also got an electric starter on there. That's what that button is. And that button is also time period correct.
Yes, it is.
So what is this little knob here? This little...
That knob is disconnects your battery.
Got it.
And because you have dry cells, they don't last very long.
Okay.
And this is the timing. So
Okay.
you can advance and retard your timing.
Got it.
So if you're climbing up a really big hill and you're lugging it in third gear, you might back the timing a little bit so it doesn't start pinging.
Got it. All right, right before we go to the business end of this, let's go over to our trunk and treats. By the way, I saw that badge right there too. What's this badge here?
That is another award that we finished the London to Brighton rally.
And we're going to see a little bit of details on that before we go to this side. You know what, let's go to this side of the car too, because we've got some things here. Here's a 100+ century old vehicle. What is this tube here?
This tube is your top. Your umbrella sticks inside of this.
Got it, all right.
So that's your top.
Then we have, what's this badge here?
That's your registration.
Registration.
And this is a European car, so that's a European registration.
Okay. And then we've got this right here is important.
That's where it was made, and this was not made in a big city. This was not even made in a city at all. It was made in a village. So it had a few chateaus in that village, right on the Swiss-French-German border, and it was made with a water wheel. So this is as quaint as possible to manufacturing. You know, no smoke, no big city,
Right.
a water wheel and a creek made this car.
That's amazing. All right, let's do one other thing. Let's go to the back. Just before we open up the engine compartment, we will go and talk about the trunk and treats we have for this car, because that's important. You'll see why. Starting with some trunk and treats, and these are the brothers right there who are working on the car. Alan, tell me what I need to know.
Okay, that's a set of Swiss brothers. They made, or their family made, on the clock towers, they made the big spur gears for the giant 10-foot, 20-foot clocks on those churches and castles. And the transmission that the car has is a 3-speed transmission with giant spur gears that spin underneath the seat, and they never had any grease or oil on them, and it's pretty quiet.
Wow.
So that was their background.
And this is where they built them.
That's where they built them. That's their factory.
Show that.
And this is their brochure that you got.
Yeah. And then, who is that?
That's Mary, my wife, and I doing the London to Brighton 6 or 7 years ago.
Very nice. And when you were doing that, there was your number.
Yeah.
So you're number 89, which matches that right there. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And this is an important piece, and this is an important piece.
This is the VCC certification.
Which is like the end-all of certifications. How long does it take to get VCC certified?
Probably 5 years.
5 years, okay.
And you have a 60 or 70
Show that
page,
right there.
60 or 70 page report saying what year each component of your automobile
And that's
is.
what we see right here.
So that chart says that all of the frame, the chassis, the motor, the transmission, the gears are all 1899 model year, which would be 1898 manufacturer year. But it also shows what other years that those frames could have been used in.
Okay.
And that.
Go ahead.
And then that's the clincher on ours, because ours is supposed to have the steering column straight up and down. Ours is at about a 10-degree angle, which was a steering column that the inventor put in 1901. So ours is a modified hot rod.
You got the hot rod, and then that's why this is 1902.
Right. So this would represent a 1902 model year car.
Because the last year of a part
The
of
last
the
year
car.
model year car had the
Got it.
raised steering column.
So it really is an 1898, but they gave it the last year
Yeah,
because
that's-
you've got a modified hot rod.
That's right. Proud of that.
I know, that's cool. So here's where we've got the face-to-face or the vis-a-vis. Show me what we have, tell me what's going on here.
Okay. In 1897 or 1896 to 1899, the political bodies in charge said if you made an automobile, it needed to look like something that a horse would not be scared of. So horses were used to seeing vis-a-vis carriages. So the automobiles, even on the big companies, Fiats and Peugeot and Didion Bouton, were all the same vis-a-vis, which is face-to-face. Then they'd put a small one-cylinder engine in the back. So this was the order of the day. Like today, almost all SUVs look the same. Mm-hmm. In 1897 to 1899, a huge amount of the vehicles were vis-a-vis carriages.
Yeah, in the 70s and 60s we had station wagons.
Yep.
Now we've got SUVs. All right, I left this for last. What is this? What are these?
There's no gas station for another 25 years later. So
Let's think about that again. No gas station.
No gas stations.
Of course.
So
But,
gas
you just
station-
don't think of that. Yeah.
So gas stations really started in 1922. Mm-hmm. This is 1898, 1899. So if you bought gasoline, you went into the mercantile or you went into the drug store and you bought your petrol.
Nice.
And you bought them in 2-liter, 3-liter kettles. So these are petrol kettles.
Let's show them how this gas goes in, too, because this is interesting. While Alan is taking off the front seat, I just want to feature one other thing that I missed on this side. So there's your gas can, and we're going to see something there, too. Okay, let me just show them that for a second before your hand's on there. Okay. While he's unscrewing that, you don't want to miss that. Nice. So in case your bell doesn't work, now notice how thin that screw head is when you think about gas. So we come in here.
You open your front latch, You
That's
take
what
your
that- yeah, excuse me, go ahead.
petrol funnel out. So it's a brass funnel,
Right?
specifically made. Your nozzle is the side of the petrol kettles,
Yeah, the size of that hole. Go ahead.
but so you don't spill anything on your wood. That goes in there. And now you're filling your vehicle.
With your petrol kettle.
And this would take you 15 miles. And back then, a 15-mile trip on one of the experimental cars was unbelievably long.
Yeah,
trip.
that's a long
That's
place.
all you needed.
That's all you needed. That's amazing. Okay, so we'll put that all back together. That is great. While he's putting that together, I'm going to feature that emblem right there. That's beautiful, and you're going to find out what this is. Notice we've got 4 valves, and we'll show you why,
Okay, this automobile is a total loss automobile.
which means the oil goes away after you use it.
Right. It actually, sometimes it goes away before you use it. So the oil is in here right now.
I see it.
So see on the sight gauge, it's about this level of oil, which might be enough for 15 miles. And then right now, the crankcase has no oil in it. The crankcase has no oil in it.
Wow.
It's a single cylinder motor that's laying down flat.
Okay.
So what you do is, to turn the gas on, you simply turn these spigots
Oh, I see it.
up here, shine up here a minute in the camera.
Yeah. So you turn.
So you open these up,
Got it.
and now you see drips going through your drippers.
I do.
And then what you do before you start the car, you let your dripper system work for 5 minutes to fill your lines with oil. And then then you're ready to start it in, 4 or 5 minutes. And then you have the equivalent of a pill bottle full of oil in the entire engine, but the oil lines go to all the oiling points that it needs to have.
Got it. So let's keep that going so we can start your car.
Sure.
All right. So let's show the back end or the business end here. So this is interesting too. First of all, we do have some writing on that.
So this lamp is a bale handle lamp. In 1896, all cars, if you had a car at all and it would be coal or steam powered, would have a bale handle lamp. Because if you had an automobile at all, somebody had to walk in front of it with a red flag during the day or a red lantern at night.
What was the speed limit?
3 miles an hour. It's however fast your friend could walk.
Right.
So it wasn't very fast. So you took this bale handle off.
So the little knob on the side, little butterfly.
So you would remove it, and this kerosene is what's
Wing
making
nut.
this lamp work.
Yep.
But this is a really modern car.
Kerosene goes down in here. Go
Yes.
ahead.
This is a really modern car. This lamp is called an emancipation lamp. So this lamp, and they're very proud of it, is an 1898 model.
Let me show that. Let me do this. Oh, wow. Okay.
An 1898 model meant it was an emancipation lamp.
1898 right there. Go ahead.
So you didn't have to take this off the car anymore. You could go the full speed, and once they repealed the red flag law, the speed got to a gigantic 15 mile an hour.
Wow.
You could just blaze through the countryside. But you still kept your lamp on there, and when you got home, since most of the houses didn't have electricity at the time, you had a light for your house, so you set it on your mantle and you have your light.
That's perfect. All right. Awesome. Can we show, well, I'm going to let you tighten that up. Just before we open up the wing nuts on top, let's show the underneath, because there's a lot going on there. And let me get my lamp real quick. Let me get my own lamp. Okay. So let's talk about the underside here. Or is it easier to just open the top and show both ends, because we might get some light coming from the top? Oh yeah, that's great. Hold on. So here's our one cylinder. Oh, prop rod?
Yeah, that's how it works, but
Okay, we'll just hold it up. So here's our one cylinder, and I can see our spark plug right there. And then our cylinder's laying flat, so the cylinder top is here, and the gearing is down here. Tell me about that little circular kind of C-looking thing.
this little widget thing is basically it pries the poppet valve open as it runs. So there's a centrifugal drive in the front of the engine, and the faster that the engine runs, it moves this in and out to make the poppet valve have less and more throw. So it was a kind of a racing addition or a racing modification that the manufacturer made. So even though it's a poppet valve motor, you didn't have, you know, basically you change the spring tension at different RPMs.
Got it. And there we have our carburation.
Yep.
And here's our transmission. I see a massive flywheel.
And all those gears, there's no case for them. They spin in the wind.
Oh, there's your gears there, your different, you can see your first, second, and third right there.
Yep. And it's never had any oil or grease on it, i.e. in a case, but since this is a total loss engine, it sprays enough oil on it so the gears still have the spray oil from the operation.
And then if we look underneath it, is there anything I need to see under here?
No, not really, other than, oh yeah, there is. The brakes.
Yeah, share with me the brakes. There's only one brake.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got a straight axle,
Yes.
and you've got chain drive. All the early cars had chain drive, and then you have brakes on this drum. And this drum, by tightening up the brakes,
Yep.
you tighten up this tension on the drum. The backside of each of these brake pads is steel, and then on the inside is asbestos, and no matter how much oil that the car is throwing, asbestos loves to work with oil even on it. So it has pretty reasonable brakes.
So where's your differential?
Well, the differential is right inside of this housing
Okay.
here. So the differential has spider gears like a normal differential would have. So you can, you know, it doesn't skate sideways when you turn it.
Got it. Okay. All right. So I think we've definitely done our overhaul, but we've got this crank back here. Show me about this crank.
This is a crank start car. So you simply wind it to crank it, you push it in to engage it, and then this is your lockout to keep it engaged. But the problem is, once you've got this engaged and you crank it, this continues to go around. So until you reach around and open this, so you can't reach this way.
Got it.
Because,
So that thing's spinning on the back of your car?
right, it is.
Okay, so it's a dangerous piece right there.
Very dangerous. So this is a much better car to push start than to use the crank start.
Makes perfect sense to me. Okay, I think it's time to do just that. I think it's time to start it and take it for a ride. How's that sound? See that thing popping away. There's the flywheel. 1893 technology. Can you imagine them knocking this stuff out of metal? That's amazing. There's the water coming down there.
That's fine.
Yeah, I can see it. Yep. Just like that. Wow. That's tremendous. Get ready as I'm about to ride in the oldest vehicle I've ever been on. Alan Travis, good to see you.
All right.
What am I holding on to on this? All right, I'm holding on to the chair. All right.
Don't fall out.
Yeah, no falling out on this one. I see you shifting gears. Oh, jeez, I think.
Speed shift.
No, let's not do too much of that. Oh. Well, how fast does this go? Which we're not going to do, but how fast does this go?
I've had it just north of 40 mile an hour.
Oh my God, we're doing about 15 and it's borderline terrifying. The speed bump, great. Okay. Actually sounds pretty good for a one cylinder. Wow. I can't imagine this at 40 on bicycle wheels. And that's, you know, bicycle wheels, that's got to be kind of aerodynamic at the time.
Of course.
It's like a carnival ride. Yo, jeez.
Now, Lou, you can get in the front seat if you want.
I'm definitely not getting in the front seat.
All right, you could.
I could, but I won't.
If we pick up some passengers, we'll have them in the front, and then we'll do face-to-face, which is vis-a-vis.
Face to face. Face to face. I feel like I'm a little bit on one of those commercials where they blow the wind all in your face. But it's great though, I gotta say. Here comes another speed bump. Watch my face on this one. Here we go. Whee! Well, this is the oldest vehicle, Alan, I've ever ridden. So first of all, thank you for that.
Well, you're very welcome.
And the fact that's exciting piece of what you do with all of your cars, the fact that you actually get them all to run is nothing short of amazing.
Well,
Go ahead.
I like to earn the right to own them, so they need to run, they need to drive, they need to be used.
And the fact that you have all the skill sets to put them together and keep them on the road and keep this historical speed bump, historical legacy going. That is pretty cool. Wow. Nice. Guy just pulled out a lawnmower who's got more horsepower than we have.
Yeah.
That's okay. What an exciting time. Alan, thanks so much for being on My Car Story.
Well, thank you.
Getting a chance to ride in this one.
Well, it's really
I want
fun.
to show a little bit more of our view